Now, I know a lot of snowflakes are going to be pissed off by this video, but I think this needs to be said. Kim Kardashian has done more for civil rights than Beyonce or any other black celebrity. Kim Kardashian has done more for black civil rights than Beyonce or any of these other black celebrities. Kim Kardashian is the reason why prison reform was passed. She actually convinced Donald Trump to pass prison reform, which released thousands and thousands of black Americans out of prison. So when I see a lot of people looking at Beyonce like she's the queen of the universe, a lot of black people look at Beyonce like she's the queen of the universe. But who has Beyonce ever got out of prison? Who has Beyonce ever helped in the black community? Can anybody name me one thing that Beyonce has ever done for the black community? For people listening to this video, name me one thing that Beyonce and Jay-Z have ever done for the black community. So I think a lot of people are going about what's popular on social media, like a lot of black people tend to do. A lot of black people tend to go along with what's popular on social media within liberal circles, instead of actually looking at facts and looking at who's actually getting things done. Because Kim Kardashian is responsible for helping release thousands of black men from prison. She's going to law school to become a lawyer, and her goal is to help release people who have been wrongly convicted and get them out of the prison. So I like what Kim Kardashian is doing with her life. I used to didn't like her when she was younger, because when she was younger, she was just wild. She would just sleep with man after man after man and not really do anything positive with her life. But as she's gotten older, she's gotten more mature. She's gotten more conservative. She's gotten more sophisticated. And I like what she's doing with her life. She's really changed her life around. And I think this is a positive example that people can change. Not every person just stays the same way for their whole life. You see a lot of people when they're younger, they do a lot of wild things. And then when they get a certain age, they become more mature. They become more conservative. They become more sophisticated. And this is what's happened to Kim Kardashian. So a lot of people are going to say she's not doing anything. A lot of liberals are going to hate her because she's working with Donald Trump. And a lot of black people are brainwashed by the liberal media. A lot of black people are brainwashed to believe that anything that Donald Trump does must be racist. If Donald Trump was a racist, he would have never passed this prison reform bill. I don't care how much you dislike Donald Trump or how much you hate Donald Trump. If Donald Trump was really a racist, he would have never passed this prison reform bill. He would have never done anything like this. So it kind of goes against the liberal media's narrative that Donald Trump is this white supremacist racist. I just want to encourage black people to think independently. Start thinking independently. We all know 90% of black people vote Democrat every year, even though the worst poverty in America is in Democrat-ran cities. The last 40 years, the worst poverty in America is in Democrat-ran cities. The worst homelessness is in Democrat-ran cities. But black people keep voting 90% Democrat every year. And I'm not saying you should vote Republican. I'm not saying you should become a Trump supporter, because I'm not really a Trump supporter. I think both parties have good things and bad things about them. What I want to encourage people to do is start being independent thinkers. Don't just go along with something because the liberal media promotes it. Anything that the CNN and MSNBC promotes, a lot of black people will just go along with that point of view, instead of doing your own research and finding out what the truth is. Now, the majority of celebrities in Hollywood are liberal. The majority of celebrities in liberal Hollywood are supporters of the Democrat Party. And this is the reason why Kanye West got so much backlash for talking to Donald Trump. It's the reason why Kim Kardashian got so much backlash for talking with Donald Trump. And this is the problem I have with a lot of people on the left. They think you shouldn't even speak with Donald Trump. If you want something done, whether it be getting a pardon for somebody to be released from prison or getting a bill passed, if you want something done and the president offers to speak to you to get that done, it makes sense to have a meeting with him. Having a meeting with somebody doesn't necessarily mean you're a supporter of the person. Because by my knowledge, Kim Kardashian is not a Trump supporter. She was just meeting with him to get prison reform done, to get people released from prison that have non-violent drug offenses. That's her whole reason for having a meeting with Donald Trump. A lot of people think any person that meets with Donald Trump must be a Trump supporter. That's not necessarily true. And this is the problem I have with people on the left. They think simply talking to somebody that you disagree with must think you support everything that that person does. And this is how divisive the far left has become. This is one of the reasons why I've walked away from the left. I consider myself an independent moderate. I don't fully agree with the right, but I don't fully agree with the left. But the right is a lot more open to having a conversation. People on the right are a lot more open to people that they disagree with. I've had conversations with people who are conservatives. I've had conversations with people who are liberal. Conservatives tend to be more open-minded to you having a disagreement with them than people on the left. Every time I have a disagreement with somebody on the far left, I'm called a coon, I'm called a house nigga, I'm called every name in the book. And this is the problem with the far left. They don't understand how to agree to disagree. If you disagree with them, you're either a coon or a white supremacist. You even have black conservatives being called white supremacists. This is ridiculous. When I started seeing people on the far left calling black conservatives white supremacists, I know they completely lost their minds. They throw around the race card so much, a lot of people don't take racism seriously anymore because they want to call anyone a racist that they disagree with. And this is the problem with the radical left. This is the problem with SJWs. This is the problem with these social justice warriors. So I think Kim Kardashian is doing a good thing. I think she's doing a lot more than Beyonce is doing. She's doing a lot more than what most celebrities are doing. A lot of people have different opinions about this topic. Leave a comment, rate, and subscribe.